All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode, week 8 of MLS. Our New York Red Bulls draw in Orlando. They earn a point, 0-0. First of all, let me introduce our special guests, the people that you already know. Jorge Martinez from The Exchange, Steve
What's up? What's up?
Pontecorvo. What's going on, everybody? How are you guys?
What's happening, boys? It's good to be back. Monday Night Raw, baby.
We're back, baby. We're back. And, I look forward to these guys. I look forward to these. He sent me a text trying to get my attention. We're not doing it tonight. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are
It
you
has to
talking about?
happen. It has to happen. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about because it's gonna feel like we lost 2 points, although we're playing away. I mean, there's a lot of things going on. You see Tim Parker making another start, then you see Dunker making another start, being subbed off. Tell me, what do you want to talk about today?
When are we going to pay Carlos Coronel?
Let's get this out of the way
Yeah,
first,
Right now. Right
right?
now. What is the delay? Seriously, what is the delay? You guys, first of all, this game is a loss. You can't play with a man down for that long and not score, or at least create better chances, right? But you're not in the game if it's not for Carlos Coronel. And that's every fucking week. What are they waiting for to give him an extension?
but you know what's every fucking week that we play a terrible first half every single game,
Yep.
and that's what we're making him the star. I don't know, Steve. Like, I don't know about contracts, but I'm pretty sure that their pockets are gonna hurt by the end of the season because they're gonna have to give him something, unless they're trying to bring somebody else in. Like maybe they use that cash trade thing from MLS. But right now the standard, Carlos Coronel is probably top three keeper in the MLS. I would say with the way that he's keeping us in the game. I think he's doing amazing. I mean, the amount of saves start from the first minute that we give up the ball that we were not able to defend well. He already comes up huge against Muriel. And he came up huge against him twice or a couple more times. And then it was just, well, first of all, let's talk about that defense.
Yeah.
What, Steve?
Yeah,
Go
it was
on.
tough. And that's what I'm saying. It's making Carlos look good in a way, but he has to make those saves. But it's like tough to see those because I'm getting flashbacks from like the MLS final. And like those were the shots. And like, you know what I mean? Like we've seen him make those saves. So it's just tough. I mean, I think maybe they're waiting until the summer to give him that contract because a lot of moving pieces might happen in the summer. We know we heard that through the grapevine.
Love that.
Just my hunch. I mean, patience for Carlos. I know it sucks, but I mean, yeah, their pockets are going to hurt after this. They're going to have to pay him. And I haven't heard anything else about another goalie being brought in. We all know how good Carlos is. I mean, he's getting attention from the national team. We saw him. What was he? He's playing for Paraguay, right? Correct?
Yes, Paraguay. Uh-huh.
I mean, you got to be pretty good to be on
So,
getting those
not to get
calls.
the rumor will started, the rumor mill started. But last year, me and Mo were waiting for RB Lipstick, and we saw Gulachi. So we said, when you coming? When are you coming? And we don't know if it was a joke or not. Again, he says 2 years. So maybe that's a play that they're waiting on. But even so, like, you can't do somebody like that. That just like literally last year brought you to the finals, had one of the best performances by a keeper in the playoffs. Um, Continued it now. Granted, fumbled up a little bit in the final when it was the most important, which could be a deal breaker, maybe for some. Could be a deal breaker for the Red Bull. We don't know.
Yeah.
Um, but come on, man. Come on, dude.
No,
He's just
100%.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. Like it's borderline disrespectful. I told Chris, I'm like, I think that his friends, his agent, his wife are probably telling him like, at some point this has to get disrespectful, right? Like,
And
when do
that's the
you?
same. Does he know something that we don't? You know what I mean? And what's going on with him and Sandro on the training? Like, does that matter? Like, you know what I mean? It's all
They had a
like,
tiff, right?
Yeah, that was two weeks ago, right before the Chicago game, and Sandro criticized him because he didn't like what he saw in training. That's what Sandro said, and then he specified that those are things of football. but that he's used to fighting players because he just wants to win. So, Carlos, if you want to put on the boxing gloves, we get the ring ready. You can beat up everybody because, dude, you need that competitive mentality, bro. This is insane. You have Muriel with his seahorse belly outrunning, outpacing everybody else in our defense, which are young, we look shocked, like we look tired, and obviously, I guess I can bring it up now. Sandro mentioned that one of the reasons why we weren't up to par because we just overload in training. The legs were tired and they couldn't keep up with Orlando's pace. But honestly, I think this was a tactical problem. I don't know why Sandro has to go back to that 3-man back line when the 4-man back line worked in the last game.
Worked
Yeah.
amazingly.
Yeah, and that we spoke about that a little bit, last week too. That would he stick with it? You know what I mean? And we all thought heading in. I mean, I even tweeted out. I was like, expect the same formation and the same personnel because it looked solid, and that was against the Chicago Fire team, which was on a roll. So this Orlando team, it is historically too. We're always playing close to this Orlando team. We always kind of struggle. That's why we were nervous heading down there last year, and we just nicked it then.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the combination of a lot of 11v11 training, he said, and then heading down to Florida. Change the weather, whatever. I don't like any of those excuses either. They got to perform. They got to get more shots on net. Chupo's offside goal was nice. Emil had that beautiful chance fall to him right in the 18. I thought he was just going to bury that to either corner. I mean, he's got to step up
He got
in
to take the
those
shot.
situations.
He got to take the shot.
And I'm more mad of just like, it's not even just this Orlando team. It's just any of our away days. Let's just take a scale back and look at all of them. They've all been pretty poor. So we need to get our shit right on the road.
Dude, that's when championships are made. Everybody says a series isn't really there until the home team loses a game. So, granted, you're like, yeah, we're going back home, but you should really try your best to be winning on the road because the games at home are the ones that you're supposed to win. The games on the road are the ones that you're supposed to make gritty and make it difficult for everybody else.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just don't. And Sandro this week saying that he overtrained the guys. Like, what are you doing even saying that? Like, he won't answer our questions about like strategies and this, but you're gonna go and tell people that these old people that everybody know or think that they're already old are having issues with their legs 7 weeks in because you're overworking them. Dude, that's a terrible thing to put out to the press.
I agree, and it's
That's
the
almost
first
as worse
time.
as telling them the formation.
Yeah.
It's not a good look. But also, I wanted to ask you guys, one big reason I think we struggle was because one of the best players in regards to covering ground in the games was not there, and that was Daniel Edelman. So how much did that influence the game?
Yeah.
That
It
was
had
late too, right? Late scratch, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
late
yeah. I think we
late
found that on
scratch, and
Friday.
you had to throw Duncor in there, and maybe that's what made him think that I'll put five across with Carballo and then Peter Straub. Then you got too many midfielders, so I
Yes.
think you should have stuck with the back four. I mean, you could have. I mean, I guess well, I don't know if Edwards was healthy or not, but you could have found
Mm-mm.
somebody, Valencia to play on that left hand side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I agree too. That I think that actually in the second half he switched to the back four, and then he was able to control the game. But my problem is why is he overthinking it? Was it because he was too scared of how Orlando plays through the middle? Because how well they move the
Yeah,
ball.
yeah.
Three. This is the first time I see three pivots, three number six playing in the same line. So I
Yep,
was a little bit confused with
yeah,
that.
with Carballo, Duncor, and Peter Stroud playing in that line. And then you only had really Emil Forsberg and Chupo up top, which those guys, they aren't as speedy. Like, that's why we miss like Lewis Morgan. So you really miss Lewis Morgan there. And you thought maybe Serge would give us some more pace on the right wing too. But there's only so much you could do with only those couple guys up top. And Chupo has been logging a lot of the minutes. I will give him the benefit of the doubt of that.
We say it every week.
Yeah,
We
I
say it
know.
every week. The guy's
I
been
know.
playing 90
And
every week.
And the goal was nice. It's a shame he was offside. He couldn't hold his run. But outside of that, there wasn't a great chance. A few wayward shots. I know it took us a while to get a shot on net. We had a couple shots that just missed away from the post. We saw Wiki Carmona make another appearance. I mean, you could tell this was going to end in a draw until that red card, and then I thought maybe we could have a chance to get this, and it just didn't happen. And yeah, boys, I'll let you take it away for the next part.
So I didn't catch all of it, but when I did, because we were driving to go see NYCFC, I said they have to win this game. And we're all sitting in the press box watching this game. Other people, they're like, they're gonna win this game. Because at the end they started getting like a little gritty. They were in the end, on their end, and just doing what they do, which is passing it, and waiting for too clean of a shot instead of just creating a big disaster and hope that it bounces to somebody's feet and they just got to tap it in. At that point in the game, when you have a man up, you got to create chaos.
Yep.
Just keep putting it in there. Let everybody rush up there. It's going to bounce to somebody with a lot of net. You have another person there, extra person on the field, and they do. Like, whatever, man. That was an L.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, go ahead,
frustrating
Steve.
for sure. No, it's just frustrating for sure. And I don't know if you want to go into it all right now, but a quick scale back again for these next two games after that disappointing result. We got two home games. So for these next two home games, I'm expecting 6 points at least.
Yeah, we should. But the thing is that we lack creativity. I think I'm 100% back in what Jorge's saying. Like, we look lost in the fact that we just kept passing the ball around and there was no movements. Usually, if you have the man up, you can take advantage of the wings. And he took too long to make the decisions. I think this is on Sandro's hands, the way we lost the game. Uh,
Blood on your hands, Sandro. There's blood on your
there's
hands.
blood. This is your fault, Sandro, because you
Oh
even make
shit.
the mistake. You even make the mistake. Julian Hall goes in the second half and he takes him out 10, 15 minutes later because he's lost. He doesn't even know what to do. And even when he's entering the field, he's telling Wiki Carmona, no, you go on this side. I stay on this side. Everybody was lost.
It's
And that
so
happened in the first half too.
it's yeah, maybe he is. Yeah, it's honestly sounds like it's almost too much tactical information. You know what I mean? Where it's like we're getting into this thing where it's like these are too many young players. You got to let them play. Like you got to let it flow for them. Like let them dictate it somehow. Like that let the creativity come out of them. Don't try to like give them all these instructions. I mean, even Victor Bogart's coming in almost at the 80th minute. You know what I mean? I would like to see him a little bit earlier, especially and then Cam Harper too. It's good to see him get back, but I didn't know how healthy he was.
You see that's a guy that if you're gonna put him in for that little, don't put him in. Just keep resting him. What about if he would have went out there, got hurt again for the little bit of time he was out there?
Don't say
No,
he's
but you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Dude,
and
you
he's
can't
coming back
if
from
they
an
if they
injury.
should have learned anything from Lois Morgan, don't rush a person back. When they come back, they're gonna come back at 100%. You
Yeah.
don't want somebody coming back to 90 because by the time you get to the finals, they're at about 40%.
Yeah, you should have put it in Sofo. You should have put in Sofo.
Yeah.
Good point. So no, I and then a couple of players too. Like if you want speed on that side, I thought Gengar was available and he looked
Yeah, he
ready.
was. Yep.
So why not use him early, especially once you get that red card? And I think he makes a mistake switching Serge and Goma. Serge and
Yeah.
Goma, even though the team was struggling, looks like the one that's always trying to start the attack.
Always.
And you take him out when you need him on that right wing. So I'm going crazy watching this game. I couldn't believe it. And then also one of the things that I was really pissed off is that when we needed Emil Forsberg, I think he had one play, but everything else was just pass and move. He didn't want to create. He didn't want to take on players. I get it. You're old. But dude, you are DP. You are the one that has to ask for the ball and try to make something happen. Not Serge, not Cameron Harper. But
Mm.
then those are the little things that bother me. I and then Chupo, I don't know, it was the legs, but he didn't move around too much. That opportunity where Emil connects with Omar Valencia and he sends that cross, he has to be there. He has to know where that ball is going and he has to be in the right position. And he wasn't there. You can tell
Yeah.
by his body language. He was like, fuck. I should have been there.
Supporting the Sandro's decision in this game, man. I couldn't believe it really either. But we just got to swallow this one, another draw. I mean, thank God it's not a loss, but it should be 3 points. I was expecting a road victory. I mean, either in New England or Orlando, one of
That's
these
what I'm
games. So
saying. That's what I'm saying. If you don't lose that Orlando game, I mean that New England game, this one isn't that bad. It's a draw. But you lost against the worst team in the league that didn't have a goal until they played your fucking team. And
yeah,
then the week after, you play with a man up and you can't. I don't
that's
understand.
why it's the Red Bull roller coaster. Okay. It's been up and down. It's been up and down. We know this. But they do like playing at home for some reason. I mean, whether it's the first half or second half, they usually find a good 45 minutes in them playing at Sports Illustrated Stadium. They just like playing at grass at home. They feel comfortable and whatever. Let's keep that going. We can't give up that because if we drop our home form, then this team could be in big trouble. And hopefully along the way we can find some road form. And just so you know, I think Inter Miami on the road is coming up soon.
Oof, yeah. I mean, right
But
now,
listen,
uh-huh.
don't be fooled by them. They just went to Chicago, a team that the Red Bull handled, and they had trouble with Chicago.
They did. They did.
So I
They did.
mean, and or
I was in Chicago. We got to go to Miami.
yeah. NYCFC went down there and handled their business there. If they didn't get fucked with extra time, they would have beat them. They're a very beatable team. They're a
Yeah.
bunch of old men, just like the Red Bull.
And I think the Red Bull will get up for that game too. And if you don't get up for that game, then you need a fucking electric shock in the heart or in the ass somewhere.
When is Lewis Morgan back?
Well, I think they say May or something along those lines. He's
He's going to be at the
still.
American Dream Wall. You guys are going to go?
Yeah, I think we're gonna bring everybody.
We're gonna
And
go on the
that's
carousel, then we're gonna snowboard all in one day. All in one day. That's the American dream. That's the whole culmination. You could do everything in
Oh,
just one
Steve.
building. Okay.
oh my God.
And
No,
you can
but
hang out with some soccer players.
honestly, I think that we have to take things more seriously when it comes to like just having a formation, man. Like just keep playing if it worked one time, try it again, working with the same I guess structure. I know that you had a player missing, a very important player, but I think sometimes you are tinkering with the lineup and then situations like this happen. And also, so you guys agree? Did it look like we were tired over too much training, or it was just
I mean, it's hard because I'm not there watching training like he is.
right? But
So it's
did
hard
it
to.
look like that on TV?
I mean, it just looked like Orlando had an extra step,
Mm.
and that's just from the frequency of playing with each other. I mean, we just played them like what was that, 2, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, but I also think that like, you know, we have to all, we joke that these guys are older, right? And we have to start to take that into consideration. We're now going into 8 weeks, and these guys have played 90 minutes. A guy who's played 90 minutes every week who hasn't played for 2 seasons before that. So, I mean, you have to take that into consideration, but also we're not the jerkos who signed these guys.
Yeah. It would just be nice to see like Victor Bogarts maybe start in a game like this, in the odd game here or there, just to give Chupo some rest because we're gonna need him throughout the season. I wasn't expecting Chupo to be like the starter in every single, start all 36 matches and be an Iron Man. I thought he was gonna, catch 20, 25 games, which is fine, and then be ready for playoffs. That's what's most important. Be ready for the cup games.
After 10 games, you're gonna see Chupa with an oxygen tank just trying to get
I
trying to
hope
catch
not,
his
man.
breath, man. But listen, I wanted to bring up one thing though, because I think we talked about it in the chat. Obviously Ronald Donker makes his first start of the season,
Mhm.
but it wasn't a good start. And he was struggling in the match. He gave the ball away a couple times, and then some of them that could have end up in goals. But do you think it was fair for Sandro to take him out of the game right before the first half ended?
Mm.
No, super disrespectful.
Yeah, you gotta wait till half.
That could ruin somebody's mind, a young professional athlete's mind. A
It-
grown person like a Tim Parker probably handle that a little different. But
especially
that,
coming out of an injury, from an injury.
yeah, that's a little fucked up. But whatever. I mean,
I think Sandro's trying to sun a lot of these players here. It looks like.
Sandro is trying to dick swing a little bit. I think that meme that we made with the hot dog. I think he's starting to really think that that's him.
Yeah, because you know what, and we fluffed him up a little bit. I mean, listen, we got to give him flowers when he when he does good, but I mean, now it's right. Is it a little bit too much? You know, riding off that wave of the cup. I mean, everyone's going to be talking about that. We won. You know, we won the East. You know, we've been to the cup, but we got to follow it up this year. We can't just keep talking about it. You know, and the thing is, this year is that we're going to have a target on our back. I mean, plain and simple, right? The league saw what we could do. We could pull out a result, but this time we want to set ourselves up better. We want to be top four. You know, we got to be top four. If you're going to be top four, you need road victories. You're just going to need them. You're going to need to pick up
Yes.
points on the road.
Yes.
I hate to break it, but
As a silver lining, though, I'll leave you with this: as average and as mid or roller coaster, whatever you want to call this, for Red Bull as a start, we're only 4 points off top spot,
That's the
which,
MLSB, bro.
which is crazy. I know Miami has some games to play, and there's maybe another team in there that has a game in hand on the Red Bull. But the Red Bull's still, 16 points. We're at 12, even from top four. So it's still there, as bad as it's been, as average as it's been. It's still within reach for Red Bull to put themselves right back in the mix
Yeah,
there.
no.
yeah, but
It's
Jorge, realistically, are we a mid-table team or a top four team?
So listen, they have shades of being a top of the table team. They have shades that they look fucking amazing. They have games where they look like, holy shit, dude. If this team would have showed up that day against LA Galaxy, this team could have been the one that was in the final, winning the final.
Yep.
They show that. And then they show the team that you're like, are you fucking kidding me? What just happened? We're gonna go back to the 75 draws a season. This is what we're gonna do.
Yep.
Sandro, this is what, and again, we always bring this up, even in the chat, we bring this up here. Sandro is playing to not lose. He's not playing to win.
Yeah.
That's a fucking problem.
Maybe even the players are too, because the formation is just constantly changing too. So they're kind of just playing pragmatic, or like, I'm just working with what I'm allowed to do. And if I start to do something that's like out of the range of what I'm supposed to be doing, then who knows what might happen. I might not start again. I might get pulled at
Okay.
halftime.
So I asked Thiago Martins last week. NYC got smacked last week, but it was bad. Like they didn't get smacked on the scoreboard. They lost 2-1 to a Minnesota team. It was a terrible fucking game. But all the guys looked super defeated. I told you guys. But I said to Thiago Martins, I'm like, you're the captain of the team, right? What is the conversation between you and Pascal? Because you technically know all of these guys better than he does. So you know what to bring out of everybody because you've already been in the trenches with these guys. Is there a conversation happening with you and Pascal to maybe bring something better to get to these guys? He's like, I talked to the coach and he gave me this whole story. And I said to myself, I'm like, is this the issue at Red Bull? Is the captain of the team not saying like, Sandro, maybe this is how, maybe da da da. Think about this. This is
That'd be
what I
Emil.
see. Yeah, this is what I'm seeing.
But I
You know what
think
I'm saying?
in every line, there's supposed to be a chief in command there. And I think that email, although yes, he's the captain, and we've heard the stories about how he pushes others to a higher level. He wasn't at a high level in that game against Orlando. He was one of
They
the
all
worst
weren't.
players. He was one of the worst players. I'm so disappointed in that game for him because he does have great games, but this one was terrible. And then who steps up in that moment? I saw Noah Isla pissed. I saw him asking players to track back. They were walking whenever we lost the ball in transition. So who's stepping up? A young, sweet 22-year-old? No, it has to be everybody. It has to, they have to be accountable for the performance on last Saturday. And I think that the leadership, yes, I think it was Sean Neal is before, Tim Parker is there, but he's just earning his stripes again. Was the second straight start, which props to him because I think he did okay. But no, we struggle, and the leaders out there, man. I think Carlos just, he can only do so much, but that's the performance that we have to reach. That's the level that we have to reach. Carlos level, who's playing like a top 14. The rest of
Yeah.
the players, not so much.
Yep.
One last thing that I wanted to bring out. Obviously the MLS analyst likes to make their own comments. Matthew Doyle said that RBNY, the New York Rebels, may seem to have another disappointing DP number 9. Do you guys agree with that?
No.
Good. I don't agree either.
Who in Chupo?
Yeah.
Dude, he's been
No,
the best player on the team.
no, it hasn't been disappointing. And like I said, I got to see a little bit of rotation. We got to put Victor Bogarts in, who young Polish kid. I mean, if we're being brutally honest, probably has a big head because Red Bull offered for him to come over here a little bit earlier. He said he was wasn't. I don't know if he just wasn't ready or he thought he was still too good. But MLS is a tough league, so let's see him start a game, right, and see what he can do. These are your next two opponents. You got DC United at home, and then you got Montreal at home. DC United with 1 win, Montreal with no wins. Okay. So this is the time I'd like to see maybe you can sprinkle in a Victor Bogart start just to see what we have. Because we're going to need a second striker in a way in some rotation. It can't be Chupo all the time. I know Lewis is going to come back soon, but also this team is it's just because we haven't scored as much too. Chupo has a goal here or there, but we really haven't lit up any team just yet. And I'm kind of waiting for that like floodgates to open in one of these games here.
You know, you're waiting for that. I'm always waiting for the opposite. I'm waiting for the trap game. I'm waiting for them to get smacked by somebody.
Yeah.
Because it's just a matter no, because it's just a
Not
matter
with
of
this running
time.
with games we have though. These
Yeah,
next
no,
couple
yeah, but I mean,
games.
like, for what we've been seeing, right? They should be losing a lot more than they are winning and tying. Like I'm surprised somebody hasn't come in and smacked the shit out of them yet.
Well, they're hard to beat at home. I mean, that's just been the history of this club from the very beginning. I mean, they're just a hard team. I mean, teams struggle to come in that arena. I don't know what it is. I mean, is it it's definitely not as many fans, that because sometimes it's half empty, but it's a place where the team feels comfortable playing their type of football on that style of grass. And the opponents always, I mean, the odd result here or there, yeah, Philly, gets our number at Red Bull Arena. Some other teams have a decent record against us. But for the most part, we got a good record against everybody. And then, who's coming up this week? DC United. Low key, it's an OG rival. I better see everybody out there. I feel like that rivalry isn't as like prevalent because we would be talking about it. We would have already been talking about it, no?
So
Yeah.
I was going to hope to bring it up. Um, you know, Troy, I'm a big fan of Troy. I thought that he should have been the guy. Sandro, I'm not hating, I'm just saying I thought he should have been the guy. He took
Hey,
a
be
dumpster fire to
careful.
the playoff. This could be the game where the Red Bull either show us like what we're asking for as a SmackDown or get the SmackDown. I know I'm always the one
Wow.
thinking, but you never know. You never know. Troy could be like, guys, you know how bad I want this one. If we're beating anybody this year, we're beating these motherfuckers. All right.
Maybe,
Hey,
yeah. I'm a little worried, I guess, from that angle is that those players might play really a good game for Troy. But
yeah.
it's good because what seems to constantly happen is that we have a poor performance away. The guys get riled up, they get dialed in, and then they put in a good performance at home. So maybe we're up and down roller coaster. I can see it going back up. I can see us winning 2-1, 3-1 against DC.
Plus, we're like Santa Claus, right? We like to boost every other team's self-esteem. We give away goals, we give away wins, points. Um, and I think Benteke is still a dangerous player. I think he's still, I think he's going to be able to play next Saturday. But I think it's also the approach. I think the approach to games is important, and I mentioned it earlier in the video. We are struggling in the first half. We continue to struggle in the first half. He has enough time to adjust in the second half, which kind of gives you a better look of the team. We saw it against New England. We kind of saw it against Orlando, but that was basically because of that red card.
Is that even good? Sorry to cut you off. To
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
pushing things, you know?
Yeah, like the thing is that you have to at some point. Obviously, I understand Sanders trying everything. He said it himself in the press conference. I want to see Tim Parker. I want to see Doncor. I want to see Omar Raheem. Okay, great. But you need to consistency in the lineup as well because yes, you're adapting to the team that you're playing, but it's always like unorganized, uncoordinated, and they're struggling out there. They don't even know where to go. We just mentioned Julian Hall lost. You cannot have these type of moments in Major League Soccer in First Division Soccer. You cannot. You took out Doncor before the end of the half. You took out Julian Hall after playing for 12, 15 minutes. This is not a laboratory. You're supposed to be able to dictate these games in a professional manner, and I think the way that he managed that game was unprofessional. And I think you have to take accountability, not just blame it on, I'm sorry I work you out in training.
That's well said.
i'm
That's
not
well
Yeah,
gonna
it
i'm
was.
not I'm not gonna be they're not gonna let me in the
There you
press
go. We got a
box.
Chris rant. Here we go. Get him. Let's get him. South Ward.
Piss me off, man.
We're just
That's
being
it. You're gonna have to
realistic.
start watching at the bar across the street. They're not gonna let you in this week.
Yeah, if Sandro hears this kid's gonna be out of here. He's gonna give him the if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. But listen, we're just trying to hold Sandro to a higher right standard too. That's all we're doing as media. We want to make that clear as well. Is like we'll harp on anyone if we see something that's not right. And if you're doing something that's like out of the ordinary and like trying too much, it's just like too much. It sounds like no team should be switching formations constantly from game to game. We should have like, you know what I mean? Just saying that sounds insane. Like, and I'm sure the players are going to get almost as like, I don't even know what I'm assuming we're going to go back to a back three in this game, but he might switch. If it's not working, we're going to switch again. So it better work, right? Like, I don't know. Like, if it does work, he might still switch it. I don't know. But
Yeah,
it's just, Sandro, we want to be on your side. You know what I mean? We really do. And I want to say the right things and have the positive things to say about this team because I know this team has a lot of potential, has skill. We have young, promising players, but we gotta let the chains off a little bit in some instances, especially for these young guys. You just gotta let them play. That's why you see some of these players, coaches who come in and have success. Now all these over tactical, you know, situations that Sandro's probably given these guys.
let them ball out. I agree. And then yeah, I think they should be able to be more creative in the attack, not be so restricted to just
Yep.
passing the
Just so
ball.
rigid in their way. I mean, I know it's the Red Bull way, but what are you gonna do?
No, not like that. So just a few minutes left of extra time. I just want to ask you, what are your predictions for the next match against Troy's DC United?
Jumpy, what are you thinking, buddy?
Let's go with let's be realistic here. Red Bull need a big win. Um, DC United are dying for a win too. And if you're gonna make a statement game, it's this one. Let's just hope it's on a draw, but I want to say maybe I would like to see a 3-1 Red Bull.
Yeah. We need to see goals. We haven't scored more than 2 goals in any of our games. I mean, we scored 2 goals on 4 occasions so far this year. Chupo's been that link for us. He's completing like over 80% of his passes. Noah Isla's been big for us, so we need him to start. I'm just not sure if we're going to see Tim Parker again or if we see a return of Sean Nealis. Tim did very good. Shout out Tim. Yeah. Shout out Tim Parker. I think
Shout out to Parker.
everyone's stoked to have Tim Parker back from, from Red Bull ownership down to the fans. We're all on board with Tim being back on the team.
I
So
sat with him last week and I said to him, short-term goal, long-term goal. And he said, I want to just get back into the starter, being a starter. He got that and he dominated. So shout out to Tim.
yeah, it'd be interesting if we could see somehow like Tim Parker, Sean Nealis maybe
Ooh.
combo. I know that kind of leaves Noah out of the picture, but we gotta find, and that's what I'm saying. I want to see like a strong back four. I believe that we can round out a solid back four. Maybe once Morales gets healthy and Kyle Duncan gets healthy, we could really see a strong back line. So until then, I still think we give up a goal to DC, but I'm saying 2-1 to Red Bull though.
Any closing remarks? Well, you got to show us a kit before
Show
we
us a
sign off,
kit,
man.
Steve.
Come on, man.
Last week you disappeared on me. Did a Houdini. You say, here's the kit, and then you
Now
disappeared.
it's gone. Exactly. Yeah. Keeping you on edge.
You sold it. You sold it.
Listen, we better get 6 points. I want 6 points from the Red Bulls from these next 2 weeks. I want us back in the top 4 conversation. You're hearing it first. We're going to get a win at DC and a win at Montreal. All right. Then if that happens, super sale. All right. Super sale.
Hey.
75% off.
Exactly. But I got a little Perugia Serie A Nakata.
Oh,
This is on the site right here. You find it at feelsgoodfc.com. Just hit me up. Maybe I'll give you a little 25% off if you told me you listened and you said shout out to the South Ward. I'll give you a good deal.
That's
I like that, Steve.
fire jersey.
I like that, Steve.
I got a bunch of vintage jackets and sweatshirts too, so it's not just the jerseys, Try to get a little something for everybody.
You're gonna sell the one off your back right now.
Yeah, I'm rocking a little long sleeve PSG. Hey, if you want the long sleeves, I got some long sleeves too. Just wait.
You gotta ask them on your page the question of the day from the show. And whoever answers the question of the day gets the PSG shirt.
Steve will never come back to record.
He's done. He's like, that's
First
it.
the boat.
TFV, we're gonna make TFV broke.
First the Boca shirt, now the PSG.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Somebody
The gems.
Only the gems.
Oh my God.
Gotta hang on to them, boys.
All right, guys. This was another great episode. We'll look forward to seeing you at the stadium.
Come on, Sandro. We got this.
Another great show. Thanks for having me again. I cannot wait to see you guys in person at the stadium. Let's go.
Let's go, Red Bulls, baby. TNV Clothing. You know where to find me. Instagram. Selling the clothes, playing Sunday League football. Support your local. Support Red Bull. Let's go.